Adventure Time, Adventure Time. I watched this show as a kid. I remember a good amount of it. Well, at least up to the point where I stopped watching, which was after the whole Lich thing. There's Jake the dog, Finn the human, Princess Bubblegum, and of course, the Ice King. There's probably some other people, but I forgot. So I saw the show growing up when it first came out, and then I didn't watch it for a very long time, so what exactly happened? I know it ended, and I think there's a new Fiona and Cake series now, but I'm pretty sure that was only an in-universe fanfic, so is that canon now? I would just watch the ending, but I was there when the show first aired. I feel like I kinda have to watch the entire thing before seeing that ending. Also because, like, what, after 10 seasons, there's gotta be some sort of connected plot points. Right? That being said, I'm here to talk about some Adventure Time dual screen games. DS games. Adventure Time DS games. I know that there are more Adventure Time games that came out on later systems, but I watched the show around the time period that these two games would have come out. I think. I really don't know what I'm about to get myself into. I got some comments on my regular show video about what to expect, and they seemed a bit mixed. So I'm going in with extremely low expectations, and when I say low, I mean I'm comparing the games to the regular show game, so they automatically can't be that bad. Right? Please? You can probably guess which games I'll be playing and talking about since I've already shown them, but just in case you didn't catch it, they are Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, Why'd You Steal Our Garbage? Damn, that's a long title, what the hell? And I'm also going to be talking about Adventure Time, The Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. You may have noticed that I've skipped a game, but there is a reason why I'm doing that. Luckily, these are some of the first Adventure Time games that came out, so I won't have to worry about what's going on too much. I'm pretty much going in with this mindset. Jake the dog and Finn the human going on some wacky adventure, just like an episode. I'm also going to assume that these games are self-contained and aren't relevant to the canon, if that matters at all. Well, I think green is a nice color for an Adventure Time video, so why don't we get started with the first game. Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, Why'd You Steal Our Garbage? Alright, way forward. Here we go again. Can't believe I'm playing another game for— Damn! Ears, what the hell? Yeah, the intro kind of blew my ears out, but on the plus side, it's a really nice song. I think this song right here is absolutely perfect for an Adventure Time game. Like I said before, I'm not sure what goes on in the later seasons of the show, so I'm not sure if the show got more mature or anything, but from the short time that I watched Adventure Time as a kid, this song perfectly captures everything that I remember and loved about this show. The lyrics are a bit strange and don't really make much sense, but that's honestly what makes it work. It's lighthearted, it's silly, it's a bit childish just like the show itself, and I think this song just perfectly captures the charm that Adventure Time had to me. So, I feel like I should actually talk about the game now. We begin with Finn and Jake. I don't know what's happening, but they're knocked out by this giant owl and Finn wakes up. It was just one giant dream, and Finn is mad at Jake for something he did in the dream. That's crazy. Luckily, Jake has some stuff in his basement for Finn to break to calm himself down. And with that, Jake gets into Finn's backpack, Beemo tags along, and we head to the basement, or in other words, the tutorial. There's not too much to really talk about here. You can punch with Finn, or use your hands. Nobody's getting that joke. Jake has a longer ranged attack, this absolutely useless slide attack, and that's really about it. The important thing to talk about is that bottom screen. Beemo is going to be hanging out down there, and that's where you'll find Finn's stats and moves. More on that later. Your inventory, the settings, and the map, which doesn't seem to be working right now. With all that done, we can head outside and our garbage is gone. Do you want to guess who took it? Obviously, the Ice King did. And in order to get our garbage back, we're going to need to solve some puzzles and go through some dungeons. Jake, you look like Killer Bean, dude. Well, you know what time it is. It's Adventure Time. And this really looks like Zelda 2. There were some people in the comment section on my regular show video talking about how this game was similar to Zelda 2, and I kinda took it with a grain of salt. But you guys were dead serious, so this really looks like Zelda 2. Well, first off, I needed to do some exploring. I already saw some roaming enemies on the map, and I didn't want to try to fight, so I went over to the left and just started walking. I found a bush and got a map cartridge from a chest. The description says that Princess Bubblegum can install it, so that's the next thing on my list, because I kinda need a map to play this kind of game. Go away, go away! I don't want to mess with those guys. Is Princess Bubblegum up here? Where is this? Wait, whoa, why is the sound engineer popping off? For a fight against the rock? Are you serious? Hey, yo. Okay, you got me, okay, you got me. There's a little circle of tall grass, and heading down there, we enter the village of the Housies. Here, we find Princess Bubblegum, and she installs the map for us before flying off. But there's a torn note where she was standing, a piece of evidence, you may call it, and it looks like there's 2 more to find. If you talk to the people here in this village, you'll get a general idea of where to go next, and depending on if you choose to fight the roaming enemies, you'll also be introduced to another type of item, the bossing item, or character buffs, whichever you prefer to say. To put it simply, you got your healing items, you got your quest items, and then you got your buffs. These buffs aren't really hard to find either. If you ever want to stack up on them, the roaming enemies on the map guarantee them. But anyways, there's some dude named Donnie up north. He took this guy's parcel. Let's get it back. The song is nice. I like the song. Why did the sound engineer pop off for this level? Ow, okay. You guys are just dropping me up. Should I actually fight them or something? Like, what's going on here? Okay, but the song is excellent. And let's just also ignore the fact that I almost died about 10 minutes into the game. So you see these fountains on the map, these are save points. They're all over the place so you won't lose progress. But the thing with these fountains is that they heal you completely. I found myself reluctant to use any kind of healing item because why would I ever do that when I could just go to a save point and heal? I will say that this is not the best way to play the game because the game already showers you with so many healing items, and I ended up with way too many in my inventory by the end. To the right of that save point is our first boss fight, Donnie. Yeah, a boss fight about 10 minutes in. He took the parcel, he doesn't want to give it back. That's the setup for the boss fight. While fighting Donnie, I noticed something familiar. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but this guy has the exact same attack pattern as Toadman. Well, that was quite a simple boss fight, and we managed to get the parcel and give it back. In exchange for the parcel, we get another torn note. Just one more to go, and seeing as how we cleared out the left side of this area, it's just a matter of going right. Now, this next part is a bit strange. Tree Trunks down here is trying to make some new pie recipes, and recommends that we go to the Dark Forest to find an interesting ingredient. Anyways, we meet up with the Raggedy Princess, and I do not remember who this person was. She looks like someone out of Coraline. She gives us a sock, which is the ingredient that Tree Trunks uses to make the shoe fly pie, which is also a quest item. Now, I don't know who specifically wants this thing, but just asking random people will probably steer me in the right direction. There's also the Hot Dog Princess up here. She lost a soldier, yeah, whatever. These guys, though, are some freaks. Up ahead, there's another area we can go to, and here we find out how to increase Finn's stats. In certain chests, you'll find these things called Wizard Stars, which allow Finn to increase a certain stat, health, attack, or speed. They're really not hard to find, and you'll probably find most of them just by playing the game normally. And if you're even slightly interested in maxing out Finn's stats, you'll find them all. Trust me, you'll find them. Past that area is the first dungeon, but we can't enter because Finn doesn't have his sword. Good call by Jake, because if you haven't noticed, I've been taking a lot of damage trying to get to these places. The way to get our sword is quite easy, so we're gonna have to head back to the Housie village to give the shoe fly pie to this dog owner. In return, we get the last piece of the torn note, we tape it together, and we get the first riddle from the Ice King. To find your sword, don't eat bread. Just walk into your house, it's under Finn's bed. And with that, we get Scarlet, the golden sword. You know, I never knew the name of the sword, I just remember it being destroyed because of the 4D thing. Before I talk about the first dungeon and stuff, I haven't really mentioned the graphics or anything, but I think this game looks great. The animations look good, the backgrounds look good, it's vibrant, I mean the whole thing just screams adventure time. And I especially love Finn's sprite. I think they did an amazing job with it because I can pull up a sprite from another game, a game that came out later than this one by the way, and you can just tell the effort that was put into his sprite. Now we're here in the first dungeon and it's extremely straightforward. Travel through some obstacles, unlock doors, open chests, and get to that boss. We also find a new ability for Jake, the ear shield, which just allows Finn to walk through these gusts of wind. Getting to the boss room, we find the Ice King making a princess for us to save. The princess being made out of our garbage. The next room over, we have the Chainsaw Bear to fight. The first real boss fight of the game. Not Donnie. Donnie doesn't count. You know, this boss fight isn't very hard, but I still ended up dying in one of the worst ways possible. So you're telling me that Jake isn't reaching there? That aside, there's two ways to beat this boss. The proper way, which takes a while, or brute forcing your way with healing and buffs. Which way you pick is completely up to you, but let me tell you something, you get so much healing in this game, you might as well brute force everything. From beating the Chainsaw Bear, we get the Hot Dog Soldier back, and we return him to the Hot Dog Princess. In this strange conversation, Jake now unlocks the ability to turn into a bridge in the overworld, allowing us to get to areas that we previously couldn't access. And with the first dungeon being completed, and Jake's first overworld ability being unlocked, that's pretty much how the game is gonna go. We're gonna help some people out first, unlock a new ability that allows us to enter the dungeon, beat the boss, and then get to the next part of the map to do it all over again. Pretty straightforward. Now, as we're traveling to the Candy Kingdom, we come across Cinnamon Bun getting interrogated by Princess Bubblegum, and it looks like her pantyhose has gone missing. Well, you can guess who took it, it's just... why? Asking around, we're not really getting many leads, but there is one suspicious individual, Billy Von Chocolate. And it looks like we're going to need a sponge to clean up the mess he's making. By the way, if something's in caps, that means it's probably quest related. Going into the actual Candy Kingdom, we find out that Lemongrab has caught some possible culprits, and it looks like we're probably gonna have to try and find some evidence to prove whether they're innocent or not. This is also the point in the game where I finally figured out that you could put condiments on food. Shocking, I know. This helps out a lot because it creates more space for me in my inventory, although this never really fully solved the problem of my inventory always being full. Can I put syrup on the eggs? That's disgusting. So Lemongrab has 3 people in prison right now, and it seems like none of them could possibly be the culprit. Wildberry Princess was making jam the entire time. This is a pizza delivery guy, and this is just a baby. But we're still gonna need to find some evidence to get them out. Even for the baby. For Wildberry Princess, we're going to need to use her diary as evidence. For the pizza delivery guy, we just need to deliver a pizza to Starchy in the cemetery and bring back the receipt. As for the baby, Well, I'm gonna have to explore this area a bit more because there are a few places I haven't gone to quite yet, like the Nut Kingdom. Don't say pause, he's just looking for a son. And that looks like enough evidence for Peppermint Butler, so we managed to free everyone here, and now we have to take the baby back to the Nut Kingdom. But so far, it doesn't seem like we've gotten anywhere. We freed the innocent people, but still have no leads on who took Princess Bubblegum's pantyhose. You can probably guess who took it, but let's play along. When we do return the baby though, we get a sponge, and there's only one thing I can think of to use it on, so I guess we gotta get back to that tavern and clean up Billy Von Chocolate's mess. So now we need to go back to Mr. Billy Von Chocolate. There you are. Hey man, I got a sponge for you, bro. It looks like he was actually the Ice King. You know, I wasn't sure if Billy Von Chocolate was an actual character or not, so I was kinda surprised by this. He tells us that we have another dungeon to go through in order to get our garbage back. But first, we're going to need a key. A key he is hidden inside of a gummy dog. I'm not gonna ask any more questions. We need to get this dog to a doctor and hopefully get some help. After getting that key out of the dog, there's a door that we can use it on in the Candy Kingdom that unlocks a new skill for Finn to use. Link's Down Air, or the Down Thrust. This move is used to unlock this door here for the Tomb Dungeon, and that's all it does. Don't even try to use this thing as an attack because you'll end up doing more damage to yourself than the actual enemy. In this dungeon, we also unlock a new skill for Jake to use, being the Fist Smash, which allows him to break these specific blocks. Again, you can use this as an attack, but I'm going to be real, please stick to using the sword. Alright, we're almost at the boss room, so we're gonna have to see another one of these garbage princesses again. Okay, but really, why is there a whole sandwich in Finn and Jake's garbage?
Let's get it, bro.
That aside, this boss fight is against Gunter, and it's just a bunch of penguins, 100 to be exact. They all die in one hit, except for the last one, which I assume is the real Gunter, but the attack pattern is pretty easy to follow. Gotta say though, Finn does ask a very good question here. Why does Princess Bubblegum have a cloning machine? This entire dungeon is actually connected to her laboratory, and Jake just kind of brushes this whole thing off, but I'm actually really curious. This never gets answered in the game, by the way, so maybe this was a setup for a future episode? Maybe? Well, we got our pantyhose back, and she tells us where the Ice King has gone next. We also unlock a new overworld ability for Jake, allowing him to break these walls in our way by growing big. This lets us travel to the next area of interest, Red Rock Pass. And immediately, I like this place because I can see that door from that one episode where everyone had to sing in order to open it. That was a fun episode. I'm just your problem. If you know, you know. This time, it's not going to be us who sings for the door, it'll be these band bugs. There's 3 of them, and we have to try and look for them in Marauder Village. First off, let's go and talk to the chief of this village. We tell him about how we're chasing down the Ice King, and that immediately means that we have to fight this guy right now. I gotta say, this was a pretty underwhelming boss fight. You know, I expected to use at least some of my items, because I seriously need some space in my inventory. After the fight, we learn that there's been a beast in the cave to the north that's causing some problems, and he thinks that we're the ones who can get the job done. All he asks in return is to bring back his heart. To help us in doing so, the chest right next to him allows Jake to learn the umbrella ability, which is a glide. I gotta be honest, I love it when platformers give me the ability to glide. I start abusing it completely, and I just try to test how much of the level I can skip by gliding. Well, by now, you know the deal. 3 of the people here have some band bugs, and they want something in exchange for them. One wants a bonsai tree, one wants his ball back, and the other one wants a candy cane. So we're gonna have to go back to the grasslands for that tree, and back to the Candy Kingdom for that candy cane. We can find the ball up here. It was actually the first thing I got since it was the closest to the village anyways. So this is the other place. Blee Blob, the cutest warrior. Oh, who is it? You chill! Oh my... Oh, and I got the band bugs now, so we can finally get to that cave where the beast is. Here we also learn a new ability for Jake, the Jake roll, which allows Finn and Jake to roll across water. Another mobility upgrade, which is always nice. But that's not the important part. This boss right here is the important part, besides the whole garbage princess thing. You know, at this point, I'm thinking the Ice King is just bored and wants to hang out. Going through these doors, we find out that the beast of the cave is actually Marceline, who is only here because the Ice King said he would give her $5 to fight us for a bit. I'm just gonna assume that she beat up the actual beast before we got here. This fight only seemed hard at first because I didn't know how to dodge her attacks, but honestly, after you figure that out, this is probably the easiest boss fight, minus Donnie and this guy. Well, we beat her and get the final riddle from the Ice King. It's not even a riddle, it just says that the final princess is in his castle and we can't get through because of a wall of ice. Yeah, I'm really starting to think that he's just bored. We still need to give the Marauder Village chief something, so Marceline gives us a demon heart as a substitute, and that seems to work just fine. In exchange for this heart, Jake learns the ability to turn into a boat in the overworld. That gives us some more places to explore and some more wizard stars to collect. After I got those, it was time for me to head to the Ice King, and okay, first off, I just want to say, I've liked the music in this game. I think it's really good, and it gives me the Adventure Time feel, you know? This song right here, not my favorite. I don't like it that much. Like, am I hearing this correctly? Is that Tom Kenny saying "It's So Cold" with auto-tune in the back? Let me just say this right now, although I don't like the song, it actually works because I can completely imagine the Ice King making a song just like this. Now that I'm here in the Ice Kingdom, we gotta help some people out before we tackle the dungeon. It's just how it goes. There's a snow golem here who's feeling a bit lonely, so Finn and Jake set out to make a girlfriend for him made out of clouds. Luckily, the Cloud Kingdom is close by, so we can get started on that right away. But man, these guys are partying like crazy. Partying so hard that the party god is here to help us with making a girlfriend for the snow golem. To make the perfect girl for the snow golem, we're going to need the finest cloud pieces, and we can find those all over the place in special cloud zones. We weren't able to access them before, but now we can since Jake, unwillingly, has now agreed to grow super tall to reach them. Sorry Jake, but we gotta do this. We're just partying. What's up, man? What's up, man? Bro, why are your cheeks out? There are 4 cloud zones, one in each part of the map. The Grasslands, the Candy Kingdom, Red Rock Pass, and the Ice Kingdom. Getting to them isn't very hard since they're pretty clearly marked, and the cloud zone is just some vertical platforming. No big deal. We get all the clouds, the party god makes a cloud girlfriend for the snow golem, and he's happy. As a gift for helping him, he tells us that only the glowing sword can break through the walls of ice here. The glowing sword is going to be at the Fire Kingdom, which sounds about right, but there's one more thing that the snow golem has for us. A fire wolf pup. With how crazy this show is, I'm just not going to question it. We get over there, meet up with the flame princess, return the pup, and manage to get the glowing sword. I think it's the exact same as Scarlet stat-wise, except it can melt ice, which is all we needed to do. I also got the spiral slice ability, which I never used and never saw a purpose in using. This is seriously the only footage I have of myself using it. Like, why hold down the button when I can just do more damage by pressing it a couple times? With all that said and done, it's time to go into the final dungeon, which is the hardest dungeon, which isn't even that hard. I guess I used more items than I usually would, but I mean, this place is more annoying than difficult. We got ice physics, and this. Oh god, okay, this sucks. I hated this so much. But other than that, there's really nothing too hard to be honest. Okay, look, if you have enough items and you boosted up your stats enough, you'll be alright. And if you've really been on top of things when collecting wizard stars, the final one is right here before the boss room. Before I talk about that though, remember when I put syrup on the egg? I also ended up putting syrup on the cupcakes as well, and I was really low on HP, so I decided to eat one. And it wasn't effective. You know what was though? The egg with syrup. That just pissed me off. Well, we meet with the Ice King to rescue the Garbage Princess, but it turns out that the Garbage Princess isn't made out of garbage. It's actually Lumpy Space Princess. We also get confirmation that the Ice King really is just bored and wants to hang out. But he took it too far taking our garbage, so we gotta beat him up. He didn't even hit back. Oh, okay, that's why. So, what do I even say about this fight? Okay, my approach to these sorts of games where they give you a bunch of items is to save them up for a big fight. My problem is that these big fights happen, but I start seeing how I can get through them without using any items. And this happens over and over again until I'm at the final boss and I have no choice but to use the items. So, all I can really say is that I spammed buffs and I beat the Ice King. The day is saved and we got our garbage back, but it's not completely over yet. Something from Finn and Jake's garbage drops out of nowhere next to Lumpy Space Princess, and we find out it's the ashtray she gave Finn as a gift for his birthday. She's freaking out, and Finn is completely stone cold about what's going on. But Lumpy Space Princess is so mad, she says she's going to destroy the world. She drinks whatever's in this thing, and then opens this portal and goes through it. We're told she's heading to the Lumpy Space Reactor core. In simple terms, if she destroys that thing, we're all dead. So we gotta chase after her right now. Also, I did not expect Lumpy Space Princess to be the real final boss. Hero stuff. What's gonna happen? Is this like an extra level? Like an extra final boss? What the hell is this? This is a totally unexpected final boss, but I'm here for it. A spaceship shooter with Lady Rainicorn sounds good to me. And is it weird that I like the song in the background now? Okay, but I almost lost here. I was really scared of losing right now because this might be a me thing. When I lose at the final boss, like right before the game is about to end, all of my immersion is now gone. Out of nowhere, the Cosmic Owl from the beginning pops in to clean things up for a bit, and now the day is saved. For real this time. Everybody's happy, everybody's here, and Lumpy Space Princess now understands destroying the world isn't the solution because she came to a sudden realization. She doesn't want to destroy the world because she lives in it, and she wouldn't want to ruin that, now would she? The credits roll with this great song in the back, and that's the end of Adventure Time. Hey Ice King, why'd you steal our garbage? That was a nice game. I like this game a lot, from the gameplay to the graphics to the soundtrack, especially the soundtrack. I expected this game to be bad, like really bad. I thought it was going to be another licensed game that had the potential to be good, and just threw it all away. But it exceeded all my expectations. Granted, they were already low because of a certain other game, but I digress. Are there other games I'd rather play than this one? Of course, I have my preferences, but would I mind playing this game again for New Game Plus? No, not at all. And I have to say it again, but what a great song for the credits. The same way I described the song in the beginning applies to this song as well. It's the perfect fit for this game, and I just think it's crazy how they managed to make 2 songs that worked that well. That kind of stuff is hard to do, trust me. But this one right here, it's a good one. Of course, it's my opinion, but I think it was an enjoyable experience.
Even if we make LSP sad, even if we see Marceline's dad, even if a guy's heart can
That was
turn
nice.
bad,
Hey!
what
is that? I know those two. What is that? Oh, that was definitely... Hey, I enjoyed that. You know what? Okay. Now on to the next game. We have Adventure Time, The Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. Well, the first thing I want to say is that this game came out on multiple consoles, but I'm gonna specifically talk about the 3DS version just for this video. And also because I kinda wanted to stick to the whole DS thing I was going for. The title screen provides some backstory to what the Nameless Kingdom is. You can read it if you want, but it's not necessary to understand what's going on. Starting off the game, the first thing you might notice is voice acting.
I'm soaked. I knew sleeping outside was a bad idea, but Jake was being a total dunk about it.
The audio I recorded admittedly sounds pretty bad, but it's cool to have voice acting in this game. Jake is somehow telepathically telling Finn that he needs some help to the north, and that's our cue to get moving. So now the other thing you might notice about this game is how it looks and the gameplay. I said before that the last game was pretty similar to Zelda 2. The game that came after Zelda 2 was A Link to the Past, and guess what this game resembles? I'm a huge fan of A Link to the Past, but I'm not gonna try and compare this game to it. I just have too much bias for A Link to the Past, and you know what they say, comparison is the thief of joy. There's some monsters up here, and well, if you've played a top-down Zelda game, you already know how to play. Weird thing here is that Finn now has a grass sword instead of Scarlet from the last game. I'm not sure if this is the new canon sword or not, but it seems much more efficient than Scarlet ever was. Or that other weird root sword. So Jake tells us that he's in this castle up here, and that we can only get in through a hidden passage. But when we make it inside, it turns out that Jake was in Finn's pocket the entire time, just messing with him. With Jake here, he can do what he did in the last game and help Finn out. Going a little further, we actually find out that Jake was only hiding because he was embarrassed since he forgot the reason why Princess Bubblegum sent them there. And what do you know, Finn also forgot. In this next room, we meet with another character, Pilment Butler.
Is there a reason why you didn't use the
What are
front
you
door?
talking about? You look like a dirt block from Minecraft. Thankfully, he gives us a reminder of why we're here. This kingdom, the Nameless Kingdom, was created by 3 sisters. The Lullaby Princess, the Slumber Princess, and the Nightmare Princess. All the kingdom needs now is a ruler, and maybe a name, but all 3 sisters have disappeared, and the coronation is tomorrow, so let's get to work. And you know what time it is. It's adventure time. Top-down adventure time, actually. And from then on, you're on your own. Seriously, this world is yours to explore. You have an objective, so get out there and get exploring. Well, kinda. In my first attempt at this game, I actually tried to go to the castle on the left because it's the closest to your current location. So I ended up going through this entire area and found out right when I was at the castle that this was not where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be on the castle on the right side of the map. So I just reset the game, and now that's the gameplay you're watching right now. While exploring, you'll see shops, caves, and you'll start to see certain characters from the show just hanging around, like Cinnamon Bun, Shelby right here, and even Mr. Pig. These are pretty much the side quests of the game. Kinda. I'll explain more later. But the main quest is to get to those castles and save those princesses. In front of this first castle, the keeper won't let us in unless we have a plastic bag. Luckily, I bought one at the shop, although I really wanted to buy the boomerang instead, but I guess it saved me some time. Okay, so now we're in the first dungeon of the game, but I gotta say, this bottom screen map feature is nice. You know, sometimes you just gotta appreciate the fact that the DS has 2 screens. But anyways, back to the dungeon. This is the first dungeon, so don't really expect anything too crazy. It's just a place where you'll start to find your footing and really see what to expect from later areas. Here we'll be introduced to an enemy that'll be coming back a lot. These dynamite guys. They infinitely spawn from these boxes, and these guys will be your bombs to blow up certain cracks in the wall or in the floor. Like I said, this won't be the only dungeon where you'll find them in, but this is the dungeon where they cause the most problems, and I'll talk about that when we get to that. There are 2 types of chests in a dungeon. The green ones, which usually hold keys and money, and the red ones which hold more important items, such as a map and a pencil. The map gives you more vision on the bottom screen, and the pencil allows you to see locked doors, other chests, and the boss room, which you'll need a boss key for. In this dungeon, you'll also find a new ability for Jake to learn. I just said that the red chests hold more important items, but I found it strange that this ability, that you'll be using for the entire game, was found in a green chest. Whatever. The ability is called the Grabby Hand, but if anything, it's more like a giant slap. It actually doesn't do any damage to the enemies, just a little bit of knockback. The real purpose of this ability is for these switches. A bit after getting that new ability, I was now looking for the boss key. I saw where the boss room was, so it's my main objective now. I went into this room right here. It looks pretty normal. There's a spawner of those dynamite guys and a few enemies to beat. Now this is the kind of room where when you enter, the door locks behind you until you complete a certain task. In this case, I thought my task was to beat all the enemies. I go to the other side and see that it's a breakable wall, so okay, I just need to carry one of those bomb guys over and throw them at the wall. What? Okay. Now do you see the problem? I tried throwing the bombs at the door because I thought it might have helped me get out of there, but no, that was not helping out either. By absolute sheer luck and button mashing, I found out that in conjunction with the plastic bag that I bought and Jake's new ability, I could actually pick up these guys as items. It took me so long to figure that out, and can you blame me? What the hell is that? So, X... Hello? Yeah, and then this happens instead. Great. But look at what happens next. Where did it go? What? Okay, well, besides all of that, I just went through the dungeon normally, trying to get every chest, double checking if I missed anything, the usual stuff. For our first boss, we have the 6 electric bears. I gotta be honest, this boss fight took longer than it should have. From that whole bomb incident, I really should have expected to use Jake's new ability for everything. You only need to use the grabby hand, hit back these electric sparks, and then to slap this bear out of existence. Well, that's the first boss, and our first guaranteed heart. Also letting us meet the Lullaby Princess, who sings everything. Pretty much. She has no clue what happened to her or her sisters, and she's going back to the castle now. Okay, now it's time to explore. I did a bit of side questing for some extra items, which I don't really know the use for quite yet. I gave Shelby the movie Heat Signature, and in return, I got a book called Mind Games. I don't know when it'll be useful, but I guess we'll find out. I went back to the shop and finally got that boomerang. The only other item there that interested me was the heart piece, for obvious reasons. So I knew what I was gonna save for, and then after that, I just did even more exploring. Part of the reason this video took so long to make was because I spent so long just exploring and seeing what was in the world. My Zelda instincts definitely kicked in for this one. I even found this out. Hello? What is happening? Oh, it's a heart canister.
Looks like a little thumping.
I kind of figured from the bomb incident that this game was kind of bugged, but that's just crazy. So let's go back a bit. Remember how I talked about these characters hanging out being side quests and stuff? Well, sort of. I wanted to try and get past Cinnamon Bun because I felt there was some stuff that I was missing out on, but I had no idea how to get past them. I was stuck here just running around and doing random stuff for quite a while until I came across this statue, and I still had no idea what to do. The statue over here has a cloud just floating around, and attacking it made it disappear. Okay. I didn't want to have to do it, but I had to pull out a guide. I never want to have to do this because I want to have the full experience of the game for myself. But when you're standing around thinking about what to do for an hour, exceptions can be made. Now listen here, Cinnamon Bun wants something funny to happen. The statue over here has a fart cloud just floating around. You're supposed to have an extra plastic bag, use Jake's grabby hand to collect this farts, and bring it back to Cinnamon Bun because he thinks it's funny. It's so funny to him that he falls off the bridge, allowing you access to that area. How was I supposed to figure that out? Do you know how long it would have took me to figure that out normally? At least there's a cave with a heart piece at the end of it, which is always good. Getting that heart piece sucks though. I already told you about the whole Cinnamon Bun thing, but these fairies are fucking annoying. They're so fast, do good damage, and take 3 hits to kill. Like, damn. There's also a guy named Rattleballs over here in this area who looks to be a wandering swordsman of some sort. He looks pretty cool and will teach Finn a new sword technique if we can collect 20 of these gum globes. They're collectibles that are scattered all over the place, but I made sure to go out of my way to look for these things. A new sword skill for Finn is just something I can't pass up. Now I want you to pay attention to this thing that I got with the grabby hand. Looks pretty strange, right? Well, you'll find a house with the magic man, and it looks like he's lost his tiny manticore, which is what we've got right here. By giving it back to him, he releases Flambeau, and now Flambeau will tag along to help us out. Not only is Flambeau useful for lighting things up and discovering new items, he's required for progression, meaning that if you decided not to use a guide for this game, you had to figure out that whole Cinnamon Bun thing in order to progress. Props to anyone who actually did it without a guide, but come on guys, what the hell? Even after getting Flambeau, I was still confused because it seemed like Flambeau couldn't light up these torches to let me get into the castle. Eventually, I got it to work, but I'm gonna say this now, this is probably some glitch that the 3DS version has. Same with the bomb being thrown through walls, walking through walls, and Flambeau working sometimes. So let's talk about that new dungeon. This isn't a very hard dungeon. Honestly, one of the advantages of the 3DS version is the bottom screen being a map. I felt like I went through most of this dungeon just looking down at the bottom screen. In here, we also get the hero gauntlet for Finn, allowing him to push and pull heavy objects. In fact, this dungeon is full of heavy boxes and switches where you have to push the boxes onto. But yeah, this is a pretty long dungeon since you have to go back and forth a lot. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's hard, but it would just take a while. For reference, I found it harder to find this heart piece in the dungeon than actually getting to the boss itself. Speaking of the boss, I think this is a great boss. You have to try and use these crystals to redirect the laser and hit it. I can see why people might dislike it, and also the fact that you might get hit by just trying to fix the pathing of the laser, but overall, I enjoyed this fight. Probably the best boss fight in the game. We now get to speak to our second princess, the Slumber Princess. Just like the Lullaby Princess, we learn absolutely nothing. Even less than what we learned with the Lullaby Princess. But I guess there's only one castle left, the Nightmare Castle. Since this seemed like the last castle to go to, I wanted to make sure I was prepared and did as many things as I could before heading in. Now that I had Flambeau and the hero gauntlet, I could be starting up here in a race for another plastic bag. While I was collecting heart pieces, I also found this party going on down here. Make sure to remember this place, don't ask why. But most importantly, I got 20 gum globes for rattle balls. Now the heart pieces are whatever, but this new sword skill was something I was interested in from the very moment I heard about it. Finn now does more damage with his sword strikes, and now his sword can shoot the Master Sword Beam when at full HP. It's a cool ability, but I never really got to take full advantage of it because I always got hit so much. To get get to the Nightmare Princess's castle, we're gonna have to get through this dark forest. This place sucks, and it's a good thing it's very brief. These plants might be one of the most annoying obstacles in the game. You could just go straight into the castle, but if you explore just a little more to the left, you can find Marceline in this cave. You pick an item, and she upgrades it for free, which is really cool. Jake got an upgrade to his shield ability, but I can't really tell you what changed, to be honest, and the boomerang can now be thrown faster and has a bigger hitbox. Other than that, I just went to the Nightmare Princess's castle, and the first thing I can say is that this place definitely lives up to its name. Seriously, this place gave me a hard time from the first 5 minutes. This isn't something that I felt the need to mention, but there's a little issue called screen crunch. I mean, the 3DS is on a smaller screen and all, but if you compare how much visibility there is here to the HD counterparts, it makes sections like this much harder. I was stuck here for like, what, 5 minutes, which really doesn't sound bad, but you also have to realize I spent 5 minutes just lighting 2 torches up because I couldn't see where to light the torch, and Flambeau only worked when he felt like it. Okay, but seriously, that's the least of your worries in this dungeon. It's actually a good thing I got the grass sword upgrade because I couldn't imagine going through this dungeon and needing 3 hits to kill these things. These are possibly the most annoying enemies in the game. Worse than the fairies because I feel like these guys actually have some intelligence, which is the worst. They throw these explosives and actively run away from you when you try to chase them, like, damn. Alright, besides that, there's a guy in the dungeon named Garrett, stealing all the loot in these chests. Chasing him for a bit, we retrieve Lady Rainicorn's ring, which allows Jake to be playable. I feel like every single cartoon game I've played has had a similar character swapping mechanic. The only reason we couldn't play as Jake earlier in the game was because he was embarrassed that he lost the ring and was too ashamed to show himself. But now that we can play as Jake, we can get over small gaps like this by jumping, stretching, one of those. The one downside to this ability is that Finn and Jake have to be together in order to progress to another room, but I really wouldn't say that's much of a downside since it does make sense and I've dealt with that before. By the way, remember how I said these guys were the most annoying enemy in the game? I was wrong. These guys right here are the most annoying enemy in the game. I mean, you can look at the gameplay on screen. I'm getting stun locked. Yeah, this place is rough. I had to resort to doing this for hearts. I'm not proud of it, but if I didn't do this, I would have gotten lost because you can be stuck in this place for a while if you don't know what you're doing. I also ran into the zombie Finn and Jake glitch. That's not what it's called, but I was forced to reset the game after Finn and Jake just did this. I lost a lot of progress and I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so you got through everything, you're at the boss now, and it looks like our princess has just summoned Shadow Finn to kill us. Great. Well, she is the Nightmare Princess for a reason. This fight kinda confused me at first with the whole Shadow Finn thing, and then the Black Swordsman phase, but after a couple more tries, I got it. Shadow Finn copies whatever Finn does, even the projectiles, but he can't copy what Jake does, so that's pretty easy. The Black Swordsman phase, well, in the first half you damage him normally, which should be alright with Flambeau and the Grass Sword. The next half, you have to lure him into the middle and step on the switch for the sunlight to burn him. If you just do all of that, it's not very hard. As I'm standing here with 1 heart left, but let's just ignore that. We now talk to the Nightmare Princess, the only princess who's not asleep, and it turns out she doesn't want the ceremony to happen. In fact, she's the one who put all the other princesses to sleep. She's pretty much saying if one princess gets picked for this kingdom and it's not her, it guarantees that she'll be kicked out because of how different her name is, which does make sense. Lullaby and Slumber Princess kind of work together, throwing Nightmare in there, well, yeah, you gotta go. So Finn just says, you guys are sisters. If a new princess is chosen, couldn't she just change the rules? And the Nightmare Princess thinks that's a pretty good idea. Oh shit. I guess she's taking matters into her own hands, and this is now the Nightmare Kingdom. Finn and Jake are in quite a predicament, but Jake comes up with one of the top 3 best ways to solve the problem.
This is straight up bad, Jake. PB's gonna kill us.
Not if we can stop Nightmare Princess before Bubblegum finds out.
How are we supposed to do that?
Easy. We walk into the castle and ask her to stop being such a baby.
That's not going to work.
Well, things are rainy, things are looking bad, and I think we should do some more exploring. It's final dungeon time, I might as well. Doing some really light exploring, I found a cave with Lumpy Space Princess, and after slapping her in the face, we gained the ability for Jake to charge up his grabby hand for a ground pound. That just means I can go ahead and find even more heart pieces for myself, so I'm gonna get myself 1 more heart and then go to the final dungeon. How do I get in? I guess I'll worry about that later. I can still get more heart pieces around the world, and maybe I'll find out how to get in. The answer is no. I never found out how to get in, and I had to resort back to the guide. If you remember earlier when I got that book Mind Games from Shelby, that was actually an important item. In the Slumber Princess's area, I found the Ice King, and in return for Mind Games, he gave us his Fiona and Cake fanfiction. Man, they love this idea so much it became an actual series. I gotta respect it though. So with this fanfic, you need to go into this cave and talk to this coal man. He'll trade you this honey energy drink for it. Now you gotta get back to Party Pat in this cave, and this is the stuff he needs to get hyped up, and we'll get some bug milk in return. So with this bug milk, we need to get it back to the cemetery to give it to this demon, and finally, we're done. We now have access to the Enchiridion, which allows us to translate ancient languages, letting us open up the gates to the final dungeon. I'm probably way too prepared for this dungeon now that I have this many hearts, but it is what it is. is. I wouldn't say that this dungeon is difficult or anything, not even close, but it's very time consuming, which might give the illusion that it's hard, but it's really not. The best part about this place though is the item in this chest right here. It's in a spot that nobody would miss, so it's practically a guaranteed buff for Finn. In this chest is Princess Bubblegum's like sweater for Finn, and this thing reduces the amount of damage received. And when I mean it reduces damage, I mean it reduces damage by a lot. After enough exploring, we're in this rest area of sorts, and now here is the tedious part. There are a lot of doors in this area, and I'm not sure if you needed to go through every single one, but I did. You see, I had to find that boss key somehow, so I just kept going and going until I eventually found it. I'm making it sound easier than it actually was, but I was really here for an hour just going in and out of rooms. Really quick, I just want to say that's a cool detail they changed the character portrait of Finn because of his new sweater. That being said, it's a sweater and not a short-sleeved shirt, but I'm not here to be that guy. It turns out that the Nightmare Princess doesn't actually want to share this kingdom with her sisters because this was supposed to be her kingdom. She brought her sisters along and they did absolutely nothing while she was working on everything herself. She just wants to be able to rule the kingdom that she built. And she's pretty much accepting the fact that she has to do this because nobody's gonna give someone named the Nightmare Princess a kingdom. I mean, the kingdom is yours right now. Finn and Jake can just go back to their treehouse and never mind, we're fighting. This boss probably varies in difficulty depending on how much you did in the overworld. For me, I got confused mid-fight, but I still had so much stuff that it didn't matter. Well, the first phase is simple. She floats around and shoots projectiles every once in a while. The next phase, she goes underground and creates spikes all over. I thought this was like an attack phase at first where you had to dodge everything before she went back to normal, but after like the third time, I realized that's not what it is. You have to ground pound this weird puddle for her to come back up, and then you can start doing damage again. Now this phase, well, she shoots stuff at you, you pick it up with the grabby hand, and you throw it at her. The final phase is the same thing except with big rings to dodge. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that I had a healing item as well. It's just, I was over-prepared for this place because I ended up getting lost and doing side missions instead. That's pretty much it. Taking her down, everything has gone back to normal, and it's time to see who will be the new princess of the kingdom. But wait, it turns out that Finn and Jake are the ones who will be deciding who the new princess will be. Princess Bubblegum told these two, but you know they forgot, so we're finding out now. This wasn't a very hard choice. I was going to pick the Nightmare Princess because first off, she's voiced by Laura Bailey. Second off, we just talked to the Nightmare Princess more, and you actually got to see more of her character compared to these two. And after everything that just happened, I feel like she deserves it. She's surprised that we chose her, but you know what? This kingdom will be in much better hands if she has it compared to those two. And there goes the credits with a very good song in the back. But we're not done yet because there's an extra cutscene.
Welcome back, guys. How things go in the Nameless Kingdom?
Is that Princess Bubblegum? Did she always sound like that?
Pretty good. Few hiccups, but we took care of them.
That's great. So you chose one of the sisters to rule the kingdom?
We sure did, just like you asked us to.
Good. As long as it wasn't Nightmare Princess.
Ah, shit.
Long story short, some really dark junk would start happening. So it's a good thing you didn't choose her.
Oh my god, bro.
We wouldn't dream of it, PB.
Well, it turns out that the Nightmare Princess is actually a lot stronger than I thought, and we might have just messed up there. So let's rewind a bit and see what would happen if we chose one of the other princesses. Wait, what's going on? Wait, I'm so confused, what's happening? Well, that was a nice song. I think we can agree that's not the canon ending. Alright, one more princess, the Slumber Princess, and you'll be quite surprised. It was all a game within a game. They also poke fun at the other Adventure Time game in this ending, which I think is pretty funny. But this is just a complete Link's Awakening reference. Maybe it was all just a dream. We'll never know, and Finn and Jake clearly don't know either. But now, since that last game was mentioned, let me talk about that other Adventure Time game I skipped. Finn and Jake were poking fun of it, and Jake even said this.
Way better than the last one.
I still like that one too. Just didn't give it a chance.
15 levels is more than enough of my time.
And honestly, Jake isn't wrong. The game in question is Adventure Time Explore the Dungeon because I don't know what the fuck is that title. I played that game for about an hour and then I immediately thought that this game was not worth recording anymore. I just didn't like this game and I feel like these two games that I talked about fit more with the Zelda thing I was trying to go for anyways. And like Jake said, 15 levels of the same thing over and over is enough for me. In fact, I had to use someone else's footage for this game. I deleted mine. I'm sorry. I'm already low on space, and I'm not letting this game take it up. Okay, besides that, I think it's safe to say that the Nightmare Princess ending is the canon ending. Another thing to note is that her last line is, "We'll meet again."
Sweet. Come on, Jake. Let's go home.
Farewell, Finn and Jake. We'll meet again.
This makes me wonder if there would have been an episode in the future that tied this character into the show. I did a bit of digging, not too much because I don't want to spoil the entire show for myself, but she never showed up in an episode, unless you count this thing. And there was never a direct sequel to this game, leaving this completely unresolved. But that was Adventure Time, The Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. A pretty okay game. I found it just alright. It's not bad, far from it, but it's not super good or anything. I really tried not to compare this game to The Legend of Zelda, but when the game is this similar, it's just hard not to. In my eyes, your money would be better spent on A Link between worlds, and I can only really see this game appealing to die-hard Adventure Time fans. There were some glitches that were interesting, the music was pretty good, especially that final boss theme, and the gameplay was smooth for the most part. This game really expects the player to go out there and explore things. In fact, it's the only way to actually progress in this game. Some might like it, some might not. But if you find this game for less than $10 and you happen to like Zelda and Adventure Time, go ahead and give it a shot. You might like it more than I did. And now for the final verdict. Would I say that I like this game more than the last one? I think it's pretty obvious, no. I would say that Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, the first game was better to me. Not to say that The Secret of the Nameless Kingdom isn't good, but the last game was just so much better than what I was expecting, and then I played a game that was similar to one of my favorite games ever. I think this was a doomed comparison from the start. I'm just too biased, I admit it. And without a doubt, I can also 100% confirm that these two games are way better than that regular show game. Adventure Time did not disappoint. With all that said, there's the finale to my cartoon video game arc, or whatever you want to call it. It was fun while it lasted, but I think it's time to finally put it to rest. I've wanted to make an update about this whole thing for a while, but I've just been working on these other videos and didn't really get the time to do so. The video is over, by the way, so if you want to click off, go ahead. This next portion is more of an update for my channel. It all began with that SpongeBob video, being a video I made because I needed some filler on my channel to, well, fill in the gaps before I went to work on a new video. The thing that happened though was my views tripled the amount I usually got, and I suddenly shot up to 500 subscribers out of nowhere. For me, I kinda came up with my channel having two types of videos, the canon videos and the filler videos, like an anime. The canon videos were longer and had more editing, and the filler ones were shorter and had less editing. But the problem is that my filler video did better than anything that I ever made. It's a strange feeling because I expected that video to get about 80 views max, and clearly that was not the case. So fast forward a bit and I have a video idea for the King Kong game. I knew I would be working on it for a bit, so I thought about making another filler video. A video about a game I hated which I thought would have been funny to make. The regular show game. I got more views than I ever could have imagined on that video. And right when I thought it would stop getting views after 1K, it just kept reaching new heights, finally peaking at around 230K, which still sounds absolutely crazy to me. And that's not even mentioning how this video tripled my sub count. But with this video getting so many views and helping me gain so many subs, I fear that many of my new subs are subbing for the wrong reason. I don't actually watch cartoons like that anymore. I was into cartoons when I was younger, but I got hit with a paywall and didn't watch cartoons for a very long time. On my channel, I just play games and talk about my experiences with them. It's never meant to be a review or anything of the sort. It's just my thoughts and me playing the games. I'm forever grateful for what these videos did for my channel, but I just don't want to give people the wrong idea about the content I make. Because of this, I knew the next cartoon game video I made would be my last one for a long time. I kinda have an obsession with numbers, and I was either going to end this arc with the third one or the fifth one, but I decided to end it with the third one because I just like the number 3 more. If I did end up going to 5 though, the next video would have been about Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion, and the finale would have been about Fusion Fall. For this last video though, I gave it the canon video treatment, so that's why it's longer and has more editing when compared to the last two. I mean, it's the least I could do for the cartoon video game arc that's helped me out so much. Besides that lengthy update, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll get to work on my next video right away, but I still want to try and beat Fire Emblem Engage first, so it might take a while. But until next time, I will do a proper outro. I don't know.